Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Hello, welcome. My name is Olivia and I'm a certified personal trainer, and not too long ago I had a little series called like all about how to choose your workout exercises, and I did one for a complete upper body, I did one for a quad and glute day, and another one for a glute and hamstring day, and I realized that this is the missing piece to the perfect equation is my functional full body day. So this is the last workout within my workout split, is a functional full body day, and it's basically like a circuit style based training for all around like athleticism. Basically, I'm just going to share with you guys how I construct this workout, because I know that there's so many workouts online obviously in our social media age, but I hope these videos will help you guys feel comfortable to be able to construct a workout of your own that you can be confident that is still like efficient and effective for you. So I feel like when it comes to circuit style training, the $1 million question is like, okay, how do you know what your working time should be? How do you know what your rest time should be, etc.? And there are a few different kind of cookie cutter like time intervals that you can use that you pretty much can't go wrong with. Usually like your working time is going to be anywhere between like 30 to like 45 seconds, maybe to a minute of working time. Your rest period is usually like 10 to 30 seconds, but that really is just super subjective, which I know isn't what you guys always want to hear, but it is super subjective to the workout in its entirety, right? And also what your intention is with the workout, and also the type of exercises that you're doing. So if you're doing exercises that are way more intense, you're most likely going to need to decrease that working time and increase that rest time. But maybe if your intention is to increase your endurance, you might want to shorten those, as you progress, shorten those rest periods to get your body more conditioned and more in shape. So it really depends, but usually that's a good starting window for everyone of a working time period between like 20 to 30 seconds, upwards of like 45 seconds to a minute, and your rest time can usually be anywhere between like 10 seconds to 30 seconds, again, depending on what exercises you are doing. For my functional training day, I tend to like to put it in the structure called an EMOM structure, which is essentially stands for every minute on the minute. And this is pretty similar to just your normal, working and rest periods, but it's just in a little bit different organization, where you are doing a certain exercise for the first minute, for however many number reps that you have assigned, or however many seconds that you plan to be doing that exercise. Then whatever time you have left within that minute is your rest time. Then once the second minute begins, you begin the second exercise, and that just completely repeats. I like it because it kind of makes a workout really fun and interesting, because obviously the more tired you get, the longer it takes for you to get through these exercises. So let's say if you're doing 10 reps of that first exercise, but you start to do that, maybe you did it in 30 seconds the first time, but it took you 40 seconds for the second round. Now your rest time gets shorter, but even though you're more tired, like, you know what I mean? It just makes it very interesting and fun, and it makes the workout go really fast. So that's why I kind of really like the EMOM structure. It's like, it makes it just more of a game to me, and it really ensures that I keep up that tempo and try to go through these things as fast as I can to keep my heart rate up, but also so then I could actually have a bigger rest time. So moving into actually choosing the exercises, similarly to with my weight training workouts, I always start with the exercise that is the hardest and the most difficult, and the same thing applies here. So I wanted to start with the movement that's very big, that's going to get our heart rate up, and is also going to be utilizing a lot of muscles at once, a very compound movement, if you will. So that's why I initially started with 10 burpees here. It's going to get our heart rate up, right? There's a lot of cardiovascular component, while also there's a lot of muscles involved. Like my core always burns with burpees, my arms and shoulders and triceps always burn from pushing myself up at the bottom of that movement. The jump from my legs has all of my leg muscles involved. So it's a very big movement, takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy. And so I want to put that in the beginning of the workout when I have the most energy, where I'm most rested from the previous round. It can start each round with a very rejuvenative energy and can give my all to this exercise. If I were to put this in like the second to last or the last exercise, I would barely be able to give my all to this at all, and it just would make this exercise so much more less efficient. I wouldn't get as much out of it than if I did what I did here and put it in the very beginning. So here is very much so cardiovascular with more of a hit of muscle activation, and there's a few different ways to complete burpees. Obviously, you could either go down and do a full push-up, or you can come down and just touch your whole body down to the ground, which is what I personally like to do, or you could stop in the plank position portion, totally up to you. But then for minute 2 for the second exercise, I did 15 thrusters. Now here I chose this one to go second because it is still a very big movement, right? There's more than one muscle group involved, more than one joint involved, right? We have our legs and our glutes, all of that getting activated from that thrust at the bottom of the movement to at the very top when we're thrusting our arms up towards the sky, getting a lot of shoulder activation in there. But since this is more, it's a slower paced movement, there's not necessarily as much jumping. This is more so for the focus of more muscle targeted, and so that's why I put it in the second one, where I'm able to give my cardiovascular a little chance to rest. Same thing to how you would do like a superset in a weight training session, where you're choosing 2 exercises that work 2 opposing muscle groups so that one muscle group can rest while you're working the other one. That's very much so my philosophy here when it comes to circuit training. I try to make sure I don't burn any muscle group out too quick or burn out my cardiovascular too quick, so that I'm able to make it through in a balanced way throughout the whole entire circuit and really make sure that I'm getting the most out of each movement without burning out too quickly in one portion of the workout or making the workout too lopsided. So I'm very, very big on making and designing a balanced circuit. So like I said, the burpees are more cardiovascular, still a big movement, hitting muscles. Second movement, thrusters, still a big movement, less cardiovascular, giving our cardiovascular time to rest, our heart rate to come down a little bit and focus more so on muscles. So there I did 15 reps, right? And then after those 15 reps, I used whatever is left in that minute to rest. Then once minute 3 began, I went into speed skaters. Now I chose these because again, now that our heart rate kind of stabilized a little bit from those thrusters, I wanted to do something that's a little bit more high intensity again, similar to the burpees. Now I'm still choosing a movement that is still pretty full body, right? It still takes a lot out of me to move in that way, especially with a lateral explosive movement like this. It's something that not a lot of us are used to. We don't train like this often. So it's still a big movement. It still takes a lot out of me. And so that's why I wanted to place that still pretty early on in the workout. I designed this for 35 seconds of working time, so then whatever left was in that minute was my resting time. So that was more of a fixed time period as opposed to reps. I just find it's easier with movements like that to have it just be simply a time period, because it also allows me to kind of go as fast as I can, and I just try to do as many bounds as I can within 35 seconds. So that one was more, again, to get my heart rate up again, but we are still working our legs and our glutes as well, but the primary focus of that was to get our heart rate up again. Similarly, now I wanted to move into something that has less of a cardiovascular component and more focus on body weight strength here and more functional movements, where this is an exercise that involves mobility and involves me putting my body through a motion in order to complete the movement, as opposed to something that's very static. So here involves some flexibility and involves some functionality and mobility within my muscles. So I went into 12 dive bombers. Also, since the previous exercise was very leg heavy with those speed skaters, I now wanted to switch the focus to have more of an upper body focused, which is what these dive bombers are 100%. A lot of shoulders, a lot of chest, my core has to be really tight, so that's why I put these in here. Again, more low intensity, it's not yielding a lot of cardiovascular work, so it kind of is, again, a little bit of a rest period for my heart rate, but I'm still now utilizing and working my muscles and having more of a burn on my upper body muscles. And so far it's been pretty balanced. Like burpees are pretty balanced between using upper body and lower body. Thrusters were a little bit more upper body focused because I find like that light weight doesn't do too much for my legs. It's more so on my arms when I thrust up. Those speed skaters are really leg heavy, and so now I balance it out with doing an upper body focused movement. Then for the fifth one, I did 35 seconds of alternating high step-ups. Same concept here. Since we just did something for the upper body that was more slow, I wanted to do something that was something to get my heart rate up again and having more of a leg focus again. So alternating high step-ups, these also really make my legs burn, but they also get my heart rate up. So this is kind of a little bit more of a balanced movement where, you know, getting my heart rate up, but it's still working my muscles. So I find that this is a good one to add kind of in the middle of the workout. And again, it's not too big of a movement that would have me like put it in the very beginning, very first exercise that I do throughout the whole workout. Then for the sixth exercise, I did 35 seconds of ab kicks. So even similar to a normal, you know, weight training workout where I like to go from the compounds more to the isolated work, that's kind of also what I like to do with functional training. So I like to do those big workouts, those big movements that are big compound movements, working more than one muscle, and then I go into more isolated style movements. And so similar here, I always like to add in my ab training at the last like 2 exercises for whatever circuit that I'm doing. So these ab kicks are a little bit different because they are more total body. These are so hard. This whole entire workout was very challenging, so feel free to adjust as you will, because I'm also out of shape and my heart rate was like, I just realized how out of shape I was, like cardiovascularly, after doing this workout. Like, this was definitely a very challenging workout. Just to put a disclaimer that I should have said in the beginning of the video, so like just adjust whatever you feel the need to adjust. But anyways, this is a little bit more of an intense ab movement, but again, the same focus here is to keep my core tight, so it's more so very isolated, more of an accessory movement here, so that's why I'm putting it at the second to last. My arms do still burn in this movement pattern because I'm still placing a lot of weight on my arms while trying to keep my abs tight. So this was a great one to do after those alternating high step ups because that was more leg focused. But I will say both of them definitely still had my heart rate up. So I was definitely winded by the time I was doing those ab kicks. Then for the 7th exercise, I did 20 marching crunches. So this again is very ab focused to have one of those, closing exercises here. There's not a lot of, it's not super intense. It's not something to get my heart rate up. It is more so very slow to get mind to muscle connection here, kind of almost using it as an active rest period, if you will, to kind of collect my heart rate a little bit and just use it as an opportunity to work my abs. So I did 20 of those. And then lastly, since we have an indoor track at my gym, 1 lap is like a 9 laps equal a mile. So it's pretty small, but then I like to have that last minute be a quick run around the track. Just because again, it's very different than my normal training. I don't run a lot, so I've been liking to add that in here and there, and that's just what I felt like doing that day. But I like to always finish off with the run because just to me, it just feels like a good finisher. And after that, I kind of have a chance to have a breather, and it's kind of one last little hurrah to get my heart rate up one last time, and get more movement, have more free-flowing nature. I don't need to really concentrate on a muscle or anything like that. I just can kind of run and complete that lap without thinking too hard. And so for me, I always like to finish on a run. It feels like a closure exercise to me for some reason. And so that was the last exercise I did. So here I did 8 different exercises. So it was 8 minutes per round, and I repeated it 3 times through for a total of 25 minutes of working time. If I need to, I will take like a minute rest in between each round if I'm like really dying after a round, so that might add in a little bit more time. But if I tend to do like 7 exercises, I like to do that 4 different times for a total of 28 minutes. So it just kind of depends. The more exercise that I add in, the less rounds that I do, and vice versa. And that just is a way for me to have it be a little bit more balanced. And they're just different levers for me to manipulate in order to adjust that intensity in the way that I'm wanting. So that is everything for that workout. That is why I organized it that way. That is why I chose those exercises. Basically, my main principles is I always like to start with the biggest, hardest movements first, working my way into more isolated, more mellow, less intense exercises, and I like to kind of make it more balanced, and I like to distribute the exercises evenly so that I'm not burning out either my heart rate too quickly, my cardiovascular system, or burning out any specific muscle too quickly, because I want to be able to last throughout the whole entire workout and throughout the whole entire circuit. So that is kind of my philosophy and strategy when it comes to designing a functional based training circuit. If this was helpful, if you want me to continue this series just with different workouts that I design, and if you want me to just show and talk you guys through kind of my strategy behind it, give this video a thumbs up so I know what you guys are enjoying, and I know what videos to make more of. And if you want to see more videos from me and you want to make sure that you don't ever miss a video, you can subscribe as well and join the familia. I'm really trying to get back on being consistent with posting every Tuesday and Friday, so stay tuned. I also want to bring back live streams. I just feel like it feels right again, and so we might go dabble in that area again. Also, if you want to follow me on other platforms, I'm at LiveFit on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, obviously, and I have a podcast called LiveFit Listens on Spotify, Apple, Google, and here on my YouTube channel, all about just overall wellness, self-improvement, personal development, all that good stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got some value from it. I'm sending you guys so much love, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.